Why am I cradling you like my baby? What up, my channel? Welcome back to another video. I'm Jessie, and you're watching. Before we get into the September wrap-up, I wanted to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is none other than Kugali Media. If you aren't familiar with Kugali, they are this amazing company that puts out the best comics and graphic novels. They center Black storytelling, African storytelling, and it is own voices. I have read a few of their books and I have never given any of them less than 5 out of 5 stars. But the latest graphic novel, Olaju, tells the story of prehistoric creatures that were sent to Earth to cultivate, and we essentially are following these creatures well before the dawn of man as they unsettle into Earth. And it is more than just a fantastical story. It is also about the land and the way that we treat it, our relationship with the land. It has some very beautiful environmental messaging that I very much enjoyed. Another thing that I loved about Olaju was the storytelling through color. Just Kugali is so well known for centering these amazing colors. They have a very particular style that you know just is marked by Kugali. And I just absolutely loved it. I loved the way that the story unfolded. It was vibrant, it was touching, it was action-packed. It was all of the things that I look for in a graphic novel. Now, the Kickstarter for Olaju is in the description box below. It launches today and they are almost done with the full graphic novel, which is so exciting. But they need your help in order to finish. So even if you can only give a few dollars, it makes all of the difference in getting this graphic novel sent out into the world. One of the reasons that I love working with Kugali is because of the stories that they tell. And it means a lot to me to be able to gush about this publisher that is putting out stories that so desperately need to exist. I wish so badly that I'd had access to these kinds of comic books when I was a kid, and I really love that Kugali exists. So thank you again to Kugali for sponsoring this video. Again, the Kickstarter link is in the description box below, and without further ado, let us get back to the November wrap up. What up, y'all? Welcome to the Noviembre wrap up here on Bow Ties and Books. We are almost at the end of the year. I'm filming this right now on December 2nd, and I just cannot believe where 2021 has gone. It feels like this year has just flown by, but I've read some really amazing books. I've read some not so great books. I've read books that I know are going to be on my favorites list from now until the end of time, and some of those books are going to be talked about in this video. So these 4 books I am not going to talk much about because I filmed a dedicated video. That video is me and Asexual Grump testing out adult romance for the very first time / Book Talk Famous romances, Book of the Month romances. And the 4 books that I chose to highlight in that video were these. They were The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, and The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I'm not going to talk about these books, and these are books that really need no introduction. They are everywhere, but I will tell you my star ratings, and that video will be linked down below. It was a blast. It seems like y'all have really enjoyed it. I loved doing the live premiere. Those of you who came to the premiere, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. So The Love Hypothesis, if you watch that video, you know how I feel about this book. It very well has the potential to make top 10 favorites of the year list, which absolutely shocked me. I did not think that I was capable of enjoying an adult romance book. And this one was it. Of course, gave The Love Hypothesis 5 out of 5 stars. Really loved the romance, and I could not stop laughing. Then we have The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, which I ended up giving a 4.75 out of 5 stars. really enjoyed this book. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation, which I ended up DNFing because I felt like I was personally being punished. This book almost made me delete my entire booktube channel. And then we have The Ex-Hex, which I originally gave 3 stars, but honestly, I'm just gonna bump that down to 2 because there's nothing memorable about this book. There was nothing enjoyable. I didn't believe in any of the characters, the world building, the magic. I think that this book is overhyped. It was lukewarm. I did not enjoy it. For my patrons last month, they voted for me to film a video. My beautiful patrons actually voted last month for the patron exclusive video to be me talking about books that serve lukewarm. And this was one of the books that I talked about. It is just one of the most lukewarm books. So the first book I'm going to be discussing in this video is a new favorite, and that is none other than The Drifting Classroom. I actually cannot remember if I talked about this in my October wrap up. My statistics are all over the place, so I'm just going to talk about it really briefly in case I did talk about it in October. But I honestly can't even remember. Did I read it this month? Did I read it last month? Did I read it the month before that? Who knows? But this is a classic, famous manga, and it is about a classroom that disappears, it vanishes into thin air, and it is about these parents trying to figure out what happened to their children. They're freaking out, and what the children and their teachers are enduring in this new plane that they have been transported to. This is a phenomenal work of manga horror, amazing illustrations, amazing storytelling. I believe it has 4 or 5 volumes. This is volume 1. It is a beast, and every single page had me gripped. I almost loved this as much as I loved Uzumaki. They're neck and neck. They, like, it might even depend on the mood, but this is way up there with Uzumaki. It is amazing. It's definitely underhyped, underrated on BookTube, and I could not recommend that y'all read it enough. 5 out of 5 stars. We have Books of Blood by Clive Barker, which I got a lot of questions about when I posted about it on my Instagram. And for those of you who don't know, Clive Barker is the amazing genius behind Hellraiser. He is a queer man, and he has written a bunch of books. I did not know that the writer of Hellraiser was a gay man, and I'm so excited that I get to read horror books from a gay male lens. I think that that's super dope. And this is the first of Clive Barker's books that I've read, and it most definitely will not be the last. I gave this, it's like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm honestly bumping it up to a 5 simply because it is a classic, and I can see all of the ways that it influenced the horror genre, and just Clive Barker is such a powerhouse. Now, this is a collection of stories, and they are all horror stories. They are dark, paranormal, they are bloody, they are gruesome, they are twisted, and the book is just unputdownable. But on top of that, there's some really dope social themes, and I loved the writing. This is some of the most beautiful, gorgeous, haunting horror writing I've ever read. I mean, period. Clive Barker is a really good writer. So if you are someone who enjoys horror, but you really like when your horror books have a lot of stunning writing, if you need that fantastic writing ability in your books to enjoy them, this is going to be the one for you. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of trigger warnings. It's a lot, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with the movie The Midnight Meat Train, but that was a story written by Clive Barker, and it is in this book, and The Midnight Meat Train was my favorite freaking story. That and the intro story, which was so violent and imaginative and wild. I was shook. I'm still shaking. I am quaking in my boots, and I'm wearing socks. Jan and I are on stream filming our wrap-ups. We have our mics muted. And now she's dancing. I know you probably can't see. Yeah, what are you doing? Tell me you're codependent with your best friend without telling me that you're codependent with your best friend. Next up, we have Spirit Run by Noe Alvarez. This is a book about a 6,000-mile marathon through North America's stolen land. We are following the son of working-class Mexican immigrants who is struggling to find himself, what he wants, his place in the world. He is angry and grieving the loss of his parents' youth, which has been taken away by slave labor. He learns about this movement called the Peace and Dignity Journeys, which has originated within Native American and First Nations peoples. And it is this 6,000-mile marathon. It is a huge undertaking. It is a huge task. And it's just, I had no idea. And so this is about his experience. And this book did not end the way that I thought it would. It did not go the way that I thought it would. And I kind of went into this book expecting it to be a story about a man who decides to go on this run and on this run, he finds himself. But the story is a lot more complex than that. And I can't say too much because it is quite a thin book and I don't want to spoil anything. But it is an amazing work of nonfiction, and I learned so much while reading this book. I'm so glad that I picked it up for Indigenous Heritage Month. I am so grateful to Catapult for sending this amazing book my way, and I do hope that y'all read it. Now, I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars simply because the writing just wasn't it for me. I do need that writing style to kind of flow in a way that speaks to me, and this writing just didn't. It just wasn't for me. But really what mattered was getting to consume the story in its entirety and sitting with it and learning the lessons that Noe Alvarez had to teach, and I'm glad that I did. Then I read Love Beyond Body, Space, and Time, and this was the bee's knees. This was the cat's pajamas. This was Akasha's paws. It was so good. An anthology, as you can see, like, it's been through a lot. She's damaged. We can be damaged. We can do damage. This is a queer, indigenous science fiction anthology, and it delivered. This is a book that I had wanted for so long, and when I finally got it, it felt like my home was complete. You know what I'm saying? This is not a book that I see hyped up enough. It's a crime. It's criminal. I'm arresting all of you. Just add it to cart. It was so imaginative, so fresh, beautifully written. I found some authors that I am now following and really, really interested in reading the rest of their works. I love a good anthology. Y'all know this about me. And this was 5 out of 5 stars. Now for a Black Girl Magic vlog that is yet to come. I read Blood Like Magic by LaSalle Sunbury. This is a beautiful, beautiful book that I read for my Black Girl Magic series, where I critically analyze and review the way that Black girls are depicted and represented in the science fiction and fantasy genres. And the reading vlog for this book is not out yet. It will include this and Beasts of Prey and some other books. And I'm just so freaking geeked for it. I'm so geeked for y'all to see it. I haven't uploaded a Black Girl Magic vlog in so long. It's sad and pathetic. But the playlist of previous Black Girl Magic vlogs that I've done is going to be in the description box below. If you haven't seen the series and you want to check it out, this is definitely one of my favorite books that I have read for the series. And I have so much respect for this incredible debut author. She put her foot in it. She did that. So what exactly is Blood Like Magic about? In this science fiction fantasy story, we are following a young woman named Voya Thomas, who comes from a big, boisterous, beautiful family. And she, unfortunately, was given a very challenging task for her calling. Now, the calling ceremony is when a witch comes into their powers. And in order to pass the calling, you have to accept a task by an ancestor who essentially attaches themselves to you and then gives you a task that you then must complete. Now, the task that Voya has been given is to kill her first love. And so she has to go on a mission. She's got 30 days to fall in love with someone and then kill them. If she fails this task, not only will she have no opportunity to become a witch, but all of her bloodline will lose their magic, and some of them their lives. So this story has really high stakes, and I absolutely love that. That's what I really need, because the plot is a bit melodramatic if you look at it on face value. But I love when something deep is at stake, and that is part of why this book was so special, especially because her family plays such a role in this book. And that was one of my favorite things about this book, was it emphasized the importance of the Black family. That is often one of my kind of gripes and complaints with non-BIPOC young adult fantasies and young adult contemporaries, is that the families are very much not playing major roles in the story. And so I loved getting to see the ways that Voya's family impacts her personality and shapes her and drives her motivations. This is a character who is just like a cinnamon roll. She comes from a family that's pretty I don't want to say cutthroat, but they're intense. And she's just a sweetie cinnamon roll who's been given a task that she truly doesn't think that she can handle. Now, I loved the blend of magic and science fiction in the story. I thought that that was really beautifully done. I loved the Afrofuturism. There's so much I loved about this book. I could go on and on and on, but all I'm gonna say is that the audiobook slapped, and that I gave the book 5 out of 5 stars, and that you should definitely watch the Black Girl Magic vlog, because I go into the themes of this book that are represented and what they mean for the Black community, and so much more than that. Then we have A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcy Little Badger. And for some reason, because I rush finished a lot of books at the end of the month, so I cannot remember if I read this on December 1st or before, but we're just gonna include it here anyway, because the December TBR is coming and it's huge. It's huge. There's a That's What She Said joke somewhere in there, but I'm not gonna make it, not today. So this is an arc of Darcy Little Badger, who wrote Alatsoe. This is an arc of her latest novel, A Snake Falls to Earth. And I'm just gonna say right now, like, please pause this video and just type Goodreads, add to Goodreads, go to Amazon, go to your, or even better yet, go to your indie bookstore's website and just hit add to cart. Just hit add to cart. There also is an amazing Indigenous owned and operated bookstore here in Minneapolis that I will leave linked down below if you want to order it from them. But this book is incredible. So this is a middle grade story, and we are following a young girl who is trying to unravel the mystery of her family. And we are following a snake person who is able to who's able to transform into the shape of a human boy. And this is a journey about their two paths intersecting in order to save something very precious and valuable. Now, I loved the writing. The story truly spoke to me. In my opinion, and I know all of you like loved Alatsoe, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. This book is a work of art, okay? And it was so touching. It almost moved me to tears. The writing was beautiful. I don't want to say anything about the story because it is that good. And I just really think that you should read it. 5 out of 5 stars. We have 2 books left, and I'm gonna go through them quickly because Jan, I can see this girl out of the corner of my eye, and I know she's making a silly face, and I refuse to look at her, and I can feel her burning it into my cheek. Application for a new best friend in the description box down below. So this book I'm not going to waste too much time on. Satisfaction Guaranteed. This was the group book for Sapphic-a-thon in November, and I have a dedicated reading vlog. It's in person with myself and Jan, and so I'm just gonna tell you what this is about. Essentially, this is about a girl who inherits a sex toy shop, and she has to save it. And because the shop is ailing, and it was operated by the one family member that she felt seen and loved and really trusted. And so she wants to do everything she can to save this shop. And she ends up being tasked to save this store with a very, very charming, hot young woman. I was mad excited about this. Daisy sent it. I love when y'all send me books. This wasn't on my wish list, but Daisy like saw it and thought that perhaps I would enjoy it. And I will say that I enjoyed it simply because of how ridiculous it was. This book had the worst sex scene I've ever read in my life, and it involved a hawk. That's all I'm gonna say. It involved a hawk. If you want to know what I'm talking about, watch the Sapphic-a-thon vlog. I have never... The hawk cry. Jan. I'm just done. I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying? It's bad. I could have done without this book. But I read it, and now I have to live with that. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. That hawk scene though, I have never laughed so hard in any of my lifetimes. I was wheezing. If you want to see me completely unhinged, you should watch that vlog. And the last book that I'm going to be reviewing here for my November wrap up is Love After the End. This is another queer anthology, and it is of speculative, why did I say it like that? This is another beautiful Indigenous speculative anthology of all queer voices. And if I had to pick one of my new favorite anthologies of all time, this would be very, very high on that list, like top 5. It was that good. The writing, the storytelling, the creativity, all of it, every inch, every page was amazing. Every story, even the stories that I didn't care for personally, I felt like they had such an amazing message. What? She ran away. She ran away. She just wanted to interrupt me. That's what she wanted.
It's tradition.
It's tradition. Yeah, every single video that I try and film in this room, she's got to come and make her appearance. She's got to make herself known. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. You should read this. Like, definitely read this. It's definitely underhyped. It's criminal. I won't stand for it. All right. That's my November wrap up with Jan. Well, I figured that I would do my, since you were filming your November wrap up, I figured I'd film mine too. Because my name is Co.
And mine's Dependent.
And we are.
Production.
She always wants to do my outro. Do you want to do, oh, what should the emoji of the, oh my God, you look so hot, Jan. What should the emoji be? The hot cry.
That's what I did.
What'd you do?
The crescent moon.
The crescent moon emoji has been selected by Jananigans. You want to do my outro?
I don't know what it is. Besides the, thank you for watching another Bow Ties and Books production. Stay safe. Wear a mask. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Close enough.
Oh.
Thank you for watching another Bow Ties and Books production. What is my outro? Thank you so much for watching another Bow Ties and Books production. If you want more content from me, you can subscribe to my Patreon where I upload patron exclusive videos every month. But all of my social media links will be in the description box below. Why am I cradling you like my baby? Actual footage of me carrying this friendship. In the arms of a Jessie. The hot cry. Unsubscribe for me and subscribe to Jan.